How do you get music on? I don't even know how to put it on mine.
Good morning, everybody. It's a built-in feature in EVMux. I'm not sure how it is in
Oh,
StreamYards. I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's there somewhere.
yeah. Bum, 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 bum.
Um, like I said, I'm sure you can do it somehow in there. You just need to look and see. Let's see who is in the chat. Nobody.
I guess it's just you and me against the
Well, that's
world.
fine. Everybody's running behind this morning. Well, back in the old days, you'd be getting ready to start back to getting your stuff ready for school again, wouldn't you?
Oh
Good
God,
morning,
it
Lag.
still makes me not dread, but just like I don't want summer to be over with. Feeling,
Mm-hmm.
still does that to me when I see like back to school specials going on at the stores. I'm like, ugh. Oh yeah, I don't have to do that anymore.
I was in. I was in Walmart yesterday, and man, it looked like the locusts had been on the crops. Because they've always got, like, up at the front of the store, they've always got several, I don't know, 24, 30-foot long sections of nothing but school supplies right when you come in the front door. And it was a total mess. And already picked through, and school lists all over the floor everywhere.
Yes.
You know, and and parents go in and buy this because this is, I mean, what we used to do. We didn't, because we didn't get our school list until after the school season started, because our boys went to a little private school, and they would tell it, this is what you need. My son that went to public school, he they would he would get the school list, and half the stuff he got he would never use. So I don't
Yeah.
miss I miss those days because they were little, but I don't miss those days having to deal with schools. If you ever have kids, you're homeschooling, Lag. That's so nobody has to go out the basement.
Uh,
But I've seen this couple of school buses running around, so I guess they got new drivers looking, learning their routes. Oh, correction, your mom's homeschooling your kids. But you had a fun subject you taught, so that would probably not too bad. And I'm sure all the Gwen's kids loved her.
oh, I don't know. It was kind of like, yeah, a lot of people think that, but a lot of kids were in band just to avoid other things.
Yeah. Good morning, Scott. The
Because
link
I'm
is in the list. Carol, good morning. The link is in the list. In the
marching
chat.
band counted for a semester of physical education.
Did
So,
it really?
yeah, because marching band's it's actually more work than a lot of the PE classes I've ever been in.
Yeah. Good morning, Jay.
A lot more physical. Anyway,
Good morning, Anissa.
Yeah.
See, we did.
So a bunch of the kids would be in band just to avoid PE.
That was when back in the dark ages. When I was a kid, that was a required class, and band did not override that requirement. Even though I got more exercise when I got home than the football players did, because my dad always had a bazillion chores for us to do. So
PE was a lot more fun in college. I took bowling.
you sound like my son that went to NC State. He took bowling.
I took tennis, and one time I signed up for weight training, and that was all. The weight training class met at 11 a.m. and then at 12 noon we had marching band practice. So I'd go in at 11 and lift weights, and then I'd go out on the marching field and try to hold up a French horn for another hour and a half. And I was like,
so I only come on here to say this because nobody else is going to say it. Lag's mom cannot be the principal, and my proof is she raised Lag, and look what the fuck we got.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I'd be standing out there trying to hold up a French horn on the marching field, and my arms would just be shaking.
A friend of mine was in the United States, in the University of South Carolina's marching band, and they were on the field more than the damn football team was. Every time I turned around, she's like, I've got marching practice for 3 hours after, in the evening, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, where do the football players go? But they were. That's a hard thing. We only had in high school. We marched during band. Our band practice was 6 period, so we'd march, rehearse during the 6 period. Then during football season, it would overrun right after class.
Anissa, I read that wrong. She said, I freaking love Jim Crass. I was the odd girl, like to move around and not be. And she says tied to a desk, but in my mind, when it meant that she didn't want to be tied up. I'm like, you're not odd. I think that's pretty normal these days.
There they are, the last of the Post-it notes going out.
Really?
When you get good stuff that people want to buy, it sells. Imagine that.
Are you serious?
All gone. The last of the Post-it notes.
I have to ship out a golf bag today, so maybe I'll videotape myself packing up a golf bag.
I bought 4 cases of Post-it notes, and they all sold within a month. So, boom.
Good morning, baseball.
I paid $30, and I think I made like $150 off of it. So, good stuff.
Well, that's good. Good morning, Mike. Yeah,
I paid $30 for like 3 cases, and
I'm going to regret asking this. I know I am, but why is your little tag there, Scott, not Obama's chef? What did I miss?
You didn't see that Obama's chef drowned in the lake behind his house yesterday?
Oh no!
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Behind Obama's house or behind his own home?
Behind Obama's house, and up near Carroll somewhere, in one of those expensive ass lake communities or something. He was supposedly paddleboarding or something and drowned in 8 foot of water in the they call it a pond, but it's huge behind his. One of the. Obama is so oppressed, and Michelle talks or Michael talks about how oppressed that she is in this country of racists that they only have 3 or 4 $10 to $15 million houses that they can live in, and this is one of them. And God forbid they cook their own shit because the chef died. I want to be that oppressed. Oppressed,
Mhm.
damn it.
Oh, that was his sous chef.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you got a lot of money, you can have that.
Were there suspicious activity associated?
It,
Uh, Not that I'm aware of, but that's not the first. I mean, I haven't. I just know who he was and where he died. I don't know much about it.
do they live in Martha's Vineyard?
One, they have 3 or 4 houses. They have one. They have one out on the West Coast, I know, and they have that one, and they have one in DC. The one where they built that big ass fence and all that shit around it, as they tell you. Uh, we don't need barriers or anything, but keep the hell out of them away from us.
Right.
Yeah.
I was looking at some things last night online, and some of these congressmen have been and senators have been in office longer than Anissa's been alive.
We're definitely term limits. There's no way to affect, at least make these damn lobbyists who are just funneling just billions of dollars of these people. At least make them have to work and buy new people every
Yeah.
every term.
I mean,
Well,
hell,
how long?
what's her name from California that's retiring?
Diane
Yeah.
Fine.
Now, Diane's been a senator longer than Todd's been alive. But yeah, I was looking at the list, that list last night, and I'm thinking, these people have no actual.
She was elected in 1992, and she was born in 1933. So that should tell you this fossil who probably doesn't know her name right now.
Yeah.
I mean, she's had all kinds of issues, and they just keep propping her up. I mean, look at hell, Thom. How long was Strom Thurmond in the Senate?
Oh, he was in there, but he's not the longest seated. He is not the longest seated. There's some people that's been in there longer than he was.
That giant racist. And then when you want to throw Jesse Helms right in there from North Carolina, he was in there forever, and he was for the most part a POS.
But Jesse and Strom, even though they were on opposing teams, they kept winning by a landslide every year because they fought for their states. They didn't just vote for their party because it was a party. If their states didn't have something going in it, then they would, vote against stuff, or they would not support bills.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, we used to hear about how much money the policies and stuff of each elected person brought back to the state. That used to be a number you would see.
Yeah.
And now everything is now they're more concerned with how often do they vote for party lines. That's the key. That's the figure you want to know. So and so voted with Trump 96% of the time. So and so voted for. It's not. They don't make their own decisions. They want to know how many times did they step out of the party lines.
Yeah, I am for term limits.
Oh, absolutely.
And my idea is 2 for senators, which would give them 12 years, and then 6 for congressmen, which would give them 12 years.
I wouldn't even do 6 for them because the House of Representatives is a thing that represents the people, and that's the people's house. And if they're cheating, there's no way some of these douchebags get reelected every 2 years without cheating. I mean, they could go against everything their state stands for, and look, they won my landslide.
Yeah, they just need to.
This is what I found, Lag. You can't stop us.
Well, like you'd have to get out of the basement to run. You'd have to go out and shake people's hands. Hell, they don't even do that anymore. I'm telling you, next year, you will not be able to watch YouTube. You will not be able to watch regular TV, cable without being bombarded with political ads.
You're exactly right, Mike. The only way we're ever going to get term limits is through through the gathering of the states, through the continental gathering, whatever it's called. Where they're what they're in the upper 20s. They need 35ish states to agree to bring it together. I think they're in the upper 20s right now.
Term limits and limit the amount of.
You got to take the money out. You got to remove the money.
Money, yeah.
I mean, once you remove lobbying and all that stuff,
lobbying,
it solves every problem. I mean, make it all illegal, solve this, and then put it. But they're never gonna vote for that either, because they are blackmailed. For the majority of them, most of them are blackmailed. If you believe what you read, what I read, they've got stuff on all these people. They've got skeletons in their closet, and people know it.
I think, and if I was a bazillionaire, I would use my influence to push for it. I think that you should not be able to receive any kind of campaign donations from anybody except people that's eligible to vote in your district.
Amen. That would solve a lot of problems, because what happens is, all the money that comes from, when they were trying to get Doug Jones reelected here, because he was on that 1 year finishing that Senate seat here that what's his name left.
Right.
I mean, his campaign contributions, like 75% came from California.
Yeah. I just think that they need to get. Yeah, you got mine, Lag. I just think I just think that they have too much money. They need to get out, and they need to knock on some doors. They need to shake people's hands. They need to get out and be seen. Because I'm telling my sons that I want a subscription to
AARP,
YouTube Red, or whatever it's called, for Christmas. They can all get together and buy it for me together, so I don't have to watch ads on YouTube. But the people that I follow, they'll get credit for me watching their shows. Because God knows, Scott, I sit through these dadgum liberal ads on your channel just so I can watch your content,
Lag, you can't buy my vote. Oh, wait, you're paying in silver. Oh. Yeah, and then once these guys and gals and whatevers get elected, when they start passing bills, I think there should be a limit to how many riders they can put on there for special projects to go along with, a bill that would normally make sense to be written and put out there. They can't pass because it's got too many stupid pet projects on there.
They should be able to veto out certain parts of it without having to re-legislate. You know what I mean?
Okay, here's another campaign promise. If I was president of this great United States, if you sent a bill for me to sign that it deviated from its major bill, as in like something about school, and then you tack on cocaine farming in North Dakota, it's automatically going to get V-tagged.
Okay, so y'all want to hear a good story from the yard sales?
What?
So this guy put on there on the main picture for the website or the whatever website it was. He had video games, and it had a 3DS, a 2DS, 64, a Super Nintendo, a GameCube. He had all these systems and games and Pokemon cards. And so Harlan and I are like, there's no way we're going over there to fight the fucking idiots. We're going to go to every other yard sale first. So we wandered. Tracy went over there first, and he got a few things. I get there. We happened to see a sign, and we're like, okay, we'll go. We'll see what's left. How many resale? We were 2 hours. We got there at 9 o'clock. He said I opened the doors at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock yard sale. So I wonder how many in 2.5 hours. How many resellers left the $10 truck sitting there? I know Tracy did. Eric, there you go. There's 100 plus 26 shipping. I picked it up and I'm like $10. I Google imaged it and went, well, damn, I'll take that. And guy just got out of his car and walking down the driveway. He's like, I was coming just for that orange truck. Sorry, buddy. You came like 5 minutes too late. So, just so many people don't learn that lesson that just because there's been 100 resellers through there, most resellers are lazy. They look for only stuff they see, and they don't look stuff up. Google image is so fast. I'm telling you, it takes no time to set up Google images. If you got an iPhone, when I start the yard sales, I have that widget right there open. You hit Google Lens, and it pops up open immediately. It is so fast to find what you're looking for. It's built into the text search of an Android, but on an iPhone, you can put the big widget up there. There's 2.5 hours of folks coming through here. And when I bought it, the guy goes, I'm wondering why that thing is still sitting over there and nobody has paid any attention to it. And he said, I know what it's worth. I just don't feel like listening.
Well, nobody's selling anything, so they're giving up.
If you put your entire store on 20% off, you'll sell a bunch of shit. I had 25 to ship on eBay yesterday. 25. I got another 8 to ship today.
Dang.
I don't really list that much. They even sold a golf bag. So,
what's special about this golf bag? Is it like a
brand new? It's brand new, and it's like 6 years old, so you can't find it brand new anymore.
Okay. I mean, is it a certain brand or a certain model that's popular, or is it just the fact that it's a?
Yeah, it was popular. I took an offer. It was on sale, and I took an offer. I'm like, it's time for this thing to go. I'll show it to you.
So you're gonna have to get out the special tools and build you a box to ship it in.
Well, I'm gonna drive over to U-Haul and buy a box.
Or are you just going to wrap it in bubble wrap and then put it in a garbage bag and tape it up with duct tape? That's how the Temu stuff comes.
It's a brand new Callaway stand bag, or not? Yeah, and it's some Chev type whatever model 5-way.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
So yeah, it's I paid $10 for it. I had it listed for 170. Then it was marked down to 130. Somebody got, would you take 100 plus shipping? Yeah, this thing needs to go.
How much did you?
I paid $10 for it.
Oh yeah. So after you pay your 35% tax on income tax on it, you'll still make about $50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was an easy one. So yeah, there is a sport box or some sporting goods box or something at at U-Haul, and it's the exact size. It's a $4 box. I'm like, somebody's
Will you
like, don't
ship
you
it?
have one of those boxes you just bought that'll fit it? But you have to cut it down and destroy these big boxes, and you'd overpay. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go over there. And I've got 3 more bags to list today. I'm like, I'm just going to buy 4 boxes for one for, and assume the others are going to sell them eventually. It just
No, we buy a few things from Temu though. Lag.
you're too American to sell on Temu.
Did your auctions wrap up last night?
No, they do every they end every Thursday night.
Thursday nights. You just have to get it there the first part of the week.
We dropped it off yesterday.
Okay. I had my dates backwards. Is that still going good for you?
Yeah, I sold 770 last week or something like that. Beth just ordered from Temu.
Yeah. You got to help keep the postal service in business by giving them something to do. Because I don't know how I can ship. I can get by $5 worth of stuff, which is the size of a shoebox, and get free shipping from China.
Yeah, I've got a. So yesterday I was working on a laptop, and basically it has. Did I tell you about buying these? That's a 500 and what 512 gigabyte SSD drive that I put in an older laptop. You can buy these on Amazon for $16. 512 gigabyte SSD drive for $16. And so I made the Windows Media Creation tool, and I'm outside working. I'm like, why am I doing this? Hey, Jacob, swap these drives. And so, Jacob pulled the drive and put the new one in, and then reinstall Windows 10. So that computer, which it was painfully slow on that old drive. On this guy here, it was painfully slow. Ooh.
Right.
But I'm gonna sell this too. I can probably get money for this too. And so now that computer is worth. It's the last one. So with the 500 gig, it's worth $200 now. And I was using it last night in the living room. It's pretty decent. Okay.
I remember paying $110 for a 30 megabit hard drive.
But it was so easy to do, Tom. Most people will tell me, Scott, you like electronics and you mess around with computers. I could never do that. It was 4 screws on the bottom. It uncovers the hard drive. You pull the hard drive, you unplug one and plug the other one in. And so when you turn the computer on, the computer's going to come up and try to load from that hard drive. So you hit the little number F2, whatever it is, to bring you into the BIOS and tell it load from the USB stick, because you've put the Windows 10 on the SD stick, and then restart the computer. It brings it up and says, do you want to install Windows 10 on this computer? Yes. And then just let it, and it does it for you. And that's it, folks. It is as simple as that. There's nothing else to it. There's Macs are a different animal, but most that was a Toshiba that we worked on yesterday. I got a Lenovo that we're going to work on. Well, I got to get a power cord for it. I've lost the damn power cord to it, but it increases. That $16 increases. You get at least an extra 100. People still don't realize how cheap these drives are. So
I was looking through, watching the chat or reading the chat, and I missed something. Did you have a Windows 10 installation disk?
Yes, no, I don't have. I just typed in under Google Windows Media Creation, and
Right.
it'll come up and give you a download to put it on a USB. You need at least a 16 gig USB, and so that's what this is. It was easy. Took no time. It was easy. Your two choices are update this computer or create a window tool. Just create the tool. It'll search for a removable drive. It'll say, do you want to put it on this? Tell it yes. You're going to lose everything on this drive. I don't care. Put it on that, and then that's it.
Good morning, Anna. Well, that's good. I was on to update my computer to 11, and hell, it don't even. It's only a year old, and it doesn't meet the requirements for 11.
Don't buy the cheapest computer out there, Tom. What the hell?
This was not the cheapest one.
I'm running Windows 11 on this computer here. I like Windows 11. So I'm inside. I have people like, oh, you have MacBooks everywhere. Yeah, but I have a PC inside because there's some things you can't do on a Mac that you need a PC. And as a reseller, how does that affect me? There's not a Mac app for the updating a Garmin. I sell a lot of Garmins. And so I need Garmin Express, which is on this computer here. So to plug the unit into the computer and let it update, because most of the ones, all the ones I buy are lifetime maps, and people act like it's a catastrophe if they have to update them. But if you update them before you sell them, it makes them worth more money. It'll come up and tell you it's going to take an hour. Just start it and walk away from it.
Do you sell the Garmin's?
I sold one yesterday. I got $58 for it. It was a 7-inch lifetime map. It's a 2797 LM. So it's one of the big ones.
Right.
I got $57 shipped for it. The only reason I sold it on Amazon, on eBay, was because that particular one did not that. So some of them are LMTs, which means lifetime maps and traffic. There was a bunch of 2797 LMTs, but there was no listing for an LM. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I just sold it. I paid $5 for it. So I did all right. But if it was the LMT, it would have been worth like 110 on Amazon used.
You said LMTs?
LMT, yeah. LM is just lifetime maps. LMT is lifetime maps and traffic.
And does it show it on the back of the?
Oh yeah, you flip it over on the back and look on a model number. The model number will tell you what it is. Easy. That's the one thing about electronics. There's model numbers on everything. Pretty easy to find values. Pretty easy to find what they've sold for. There's model numbers. But that was, but I had updated that one, and so it went out.
It's well, nowadays, if your car's got it built into it, it's such a hassle updating the maps and whatnot.
And there are a lot of people that don't want to use your phones, and a lot of people say, "Oh, just use your phone." And so there are also states with certain laws. So if you live in the state of, I believe, Arizona, Arizona's hands-free law doesn't allow you to do anything with your phone, including navigation. And so technically, if you live in Arizona and are using the phone for navigation, you could actually be written a ticket for it. So these GPS units are still if you find the ones for trucks, they're worth stupid money because they have a different routing system on them. Because they've routed so for a semi truck, because a semi truck can't go down every road.
Right.
It'll eliminate certain roads. It'll eliminate things. And so those are worth a lot more money. I don't know, Mike. They just.
Yeah, the thing about the routes that they can go down and whatnot. Yeah. I remember years ago, I was with some friends in L.A.
And Lower Alabama?
Huh?
Lower Alabama?
Yeah, Lower Alabama. Okay. There were certain streets that the tour bus driver could not go. They couldn't go down.
So I've got a real nice one out there. I haven't sold it yet. It's listed. I probably got it listed a little too high on Amazon, but it's it is made to be very easy. It's voice control and everything. You can tell it to find this, find that on the route. And it's how the mounts are that you put on the window. You got all the unclipping. This one's magnetic to the mount itself, and so you just pull off of it. I mean, it's very easy to use. That's the newer units. I forget what that was called, or have magnetic mounts like that make them very, very easy to use. So if you see any of the real new Garmin's, that one's it's called I think it's a 57 drive or something, whatever it's called. If I was outside, I'd grab it. I actually know where it is.
Well,
Why would you want your Siri to sound like Thom? Like
that was lag.
Yeah.
That'll cost you $150 lag and $9.95 a month to have my voice on Siri. I don't know if any of you guys, especially you Northerners, watch any of It's a Southern Thing videos, and they had a Southern Siri on there, and she can understand anything that this person from like Boston was saying. Where can I pack my car? I'm sorry. Please say again.
Yeah, bring Carol on here to talk for Carol. Come on and talk to us for a minute. Your car. I've met her a couple times in person, and it takes me about 10 minutes to understand what the hell she is saying.
Yeah.
Especially if she gets excited and starts talking too damn fast. You're like, whoa. My southern slow mind can only process so much at a time. But you're in such a hurry. Why you got to use so many words at once?
Like, I bet your alert that you sold something on eBay is Todd going, ka-ching.
Trying to think, what else did I find this weekend? So I did buy a box of just electronics. The guy he made me pay $80, which I offered him $60. But it's got Android streamers in it. There's two of them in it. One of them is worth $300 by itself, and the other one I think is worth like $180. So, how did you know what the Android streamer was worth?
Hi, Glenn.
I looked the model number on eBay and hit sold or completed, and went, I'll be damned, I'll take that. And the box had two of those. It had two extenders, had a bunch of the Wi-Fi USB Wi-Fi's, like 3 or 4 of those. It also had 2 routers in it. They're worth like $20 a piece or something. Not great, but still.
I had to see what you were talking about, the Android streamers.
Hi, Maggie.
Yeah, so basically they hook up to your TV, and you put a hard drive in them, and it's a DVR service as well as Android has different programs and stuff. Not the regular, like this, what is it? HBO Max that gives you all kinds of stuff, or streaming Hulu. It's that
right?
It'll bring all that stuff to your TV as well. But what else did I buy? Damn, a lot of this shit's still in the van because I had my list it today and I don't. So I bought a couple of all the video games. You had a bunch of stuff for $1 each, and there's some of these older little games, little cartridge games that go in the Leapfrog.
Right.
If they're new in the package, folks, those things are generally they're worth looking up. These are the Leapster, the ones where learn to write on those little leap pads or whatever they are. Yeah. They were $1 each. I don't know why he sold them for $1 each, but they're like $34 a piece, and they weigh like 2 ounces. I mean, these things are in their little packages. So that was pretty decent. What else did I buy?
That's good.
Is that Is that an eBay or an Amazon item?
It's going on Amazon. I bought a tool, and not I didn't buy lag. I bought a tool. You almost spit coffee everywhere, didn't you?
You just about made me spray coffee all over this computer.
This lady had all these tools showed up in the pictures, and we're like, I was thinking when I was doing it, we'll never get there in time. It's too far. It's the farthest one away from us going. You know, I'll put it on a list. We probably won't make it. Well, we made it, and nobody else did. And so she had all this craftsman stuff up there. I'm like, how much are the wrenches? She goes, she was an Oriental lady. Small ones, $1. Big ones, $2. And so I grabbed up all the craftsmen. And there's this other guy came up while I was looking at this stuff, and he's looking at the hand planers. I think there must be okay money in hand planers. I don't know anything about them. And there is a silver tool sitting in front of him, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. So I walk around to the other side, and it says, let me pull this thing up. Yeah, this is crazy. It says Porter cable. That's the first thing I read. I'm like, Porter cable. I know Porter cable is expensive. That's when you start learning brands of tools. There's only so many of them, and it looked like some kind of planer. It said it was a Porter. I picked it up. I'm like, and it's a Porter cable 126 is all the thing I had on it. I reached right in front of that guy. I reached right in front of that guy and grabbed it. I'm like, man, what do you want for this thing? She looked at me and she goes, $20.
Nice.
You don't, when it's that good, you don't argue, you don't do anything. They go from as low as 175 if you run them at auction. You know, somebody else got 199 plus 50 shipping, 175. But for $20, yeah, I still don't know exactly what it does. I know it's some kind of planer. And that guy was looking at planers, and I'm like, if he knows planers, why is he not picking up the Porter cable? I just reached, I'm like, I think I'll take that. That was a good find. And there again, I don't know anything about planers. I know very little about tools, other than I know some tools. But looking at it, just says 126 on it, so that's what I typed in. That's what I found. You know, look up a model number. It's pretty quick.
So there's your helpful hint from today. If you got some vacation time, you need to go take a week and go to Alabama thrifting.
It's too hot now. Yard sales are over with.
Oh, are they? He's just saying that so you don't vacation in Alabama.
Huntsville's been very good to us this year. The yard sales have been better than average. I don't know what it is. Well, we also have so one thing Harlan and I decided, we talked about it last year, but we didn't do it as much. We started to, but this year we're like, you know, $3 or less. One bid at the auction, you're out of it. You make 50 cents if you pay $3 and you get a $5 bid, you make 50. So anything $3 or less, if it's something interesting, if it's something that maybe you can put a couple things together, we'll buy it. So we buy. So I don't know if they're necessarily that much better this year, or we've been much more aggressive in buying stuff, knowing that we're going to send it up there and just see what happens.
Is that still going well?
Yeah, you spend $3 and all of a sudden you got two people want it, and you get a $9 bid, and you got most people will go, well, it's just $9. I mean, but you're making $4 on your $3. I mean, you're doubling up with no effort. All I did was put it in the car and then set it on a table. That's it.
You know, two of those $4 items will pay for your Starbucks, or should I say Joni's Starbucks?
Well, we both had it this morning, but we make it at home. We don't generally. We generally drink coffee from home. It's just too expensive to drink out.
Yeah.
But easily a couple of those pays for your gas for the day running around.
Yeah.
That'll pay for a couple of gallons. If Ann gets 22 miles to the gallons, that's 44 miles. But Harlan's much better than I am. He buys so much more for the auction. You'll look at my stuff, and I've got all this stuff listed on online and make really good money. And he's got stuff that he is running through the auction because he doesn't have having a job. He doesn't have time to do as much eBay as I do. So
he so he does most of his stuff goes to the auction.
Absolutely. Or the flea market, whichever one he thinks will be better money.
Oh, he's doing flea markets?
Yeah, he's been doing Nashville he's not doing this month, but he's done the last 3 or 4.
Well, you need to take some of your 3Xs up there and go with him. Go spend the day with him with a van load of women's underwear.
Because that doesn't sound creepy.
Well, you leave them all in the packets and just throw them out on a daggum tarpaulin. You can charge $3 to go waller around.
We need to find somebody to wear them around and start selling them used up there.
No,
well, you could wear them.
The big girls can't get down to a tarp. It's got to be up on the table for the big girls, Tom.
Hey, I sold a bunch of those yesterday. So I had someone who bought. I had 2 people over the weekend. I had 2 people buy 6 packs each. So I sold 12 to 2 people.
Are you giving them away?
Well, one of them I took an offer. She wanted $7 for each for all 6 of them. So that's $42. So
Carol's backstage.
I don't see you, Carol.
6 of them I might have had third.
She's
I might have had
again.
I had $4 into 6 of them, and so I'm like, okay, I'll take your $42 offer. And one of y'all can't figure this out. It's either Carol or Tom.
No, she's not showing up at the little in the bottom.
She's so small, she doesn't show up.
Oh, I love that when you look over there. Hot and humid today. Temperature is going to feel like 100. Thanks a lot for the good news that you.
Yeah, it's hot again today here.
That's the thing. That's the thing about it is that humidity just does not. The temperature can not be that hot, but when you throw the humidity in it, and you just die.
These people think the world is coming to the end and global warming because it's hot in the summer. It's the summertime, folks. You look at the South, and Todd, is that any hotter than you thought it was, or you figured it'd be right there, right? Because you've lived there your whole, or at least I don't know how long you've lived there, but quite a while.
Yep.
It's the end of July in the summer in Alabama. I expect it to feel like it's in the upper 90s. It's not a big shot.
Yeah, it's summertime in the South. It's going to be hot.
But you hear the one talking about this is the hot. That was the hottest day in the last 120,000 years. So we started measuring temperatures and recording them in the 1870s. So where'd you get all this data from? You can make data and stats say anything. So where'd you get this data that some in the last 120,000 years that there's not been a day hotter than the one a few weeks ago? You must be out your damn mind, you damn politicians.
Yeah, being that I live with a data person, when we start here, we hear stories. Data says such and such in these different reports. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, well, I probably can go in there and tweak a couple of your fields and change it the other direction. You get what you were looking for, unless you're in, like Roberta used to do data management for a doctor who did research. That had to be exact,
Unless you're making a vaccine and they don't give a shit.
You could kill somebody, but or kill a child because it was all pediatric research. But some of this BS they come up with, data says such and such. Well, let's send it to my girl that's sitting over there and let her look at your data and see, or give her access to it and see if she comes up with the same thing.
I wonder what she'll find out from the research data on the COVID vaccine. Oh, wait a minute. They lied. They didn't do any of that shit. Come on.
I'm sure she would like to get around poking around with all that COVID stuff just to see what kind of crap they accumulated.
If you look at, okay, so I don't know how much you believe RFK Jr. or not, but he had an interesting point that I saw yesterday that the emergency use authorization. My screen just died. Did I go away?
No, you're still here.
Screen just blanked out. So the emergency use authorization. If there was a treatment out, you could not do the emergency use. And so there's a reason why everybody came down on ivermectin and hydrochloroquine, whatever the hell, I can never say that, HCl. Because if they were effective treatments, there is a federal law saying you can't use the emergency use authorization to force stuff and do these things because there's an effective treatment. And there's statistics out there, take it or leave it, that 500,000 Americans died needlessly because we ignored effective treatments. Who's going to pay for the 500,000 deaths? Because they wanted to. If you look at the vaccines, they've made $200 billion on the world forcing this shit down our throats, and they only had to kill millions of people to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of drugs, I think it was last week we talked about the Pfizer tornado or the tornado hitting the Pfizer plant out there. So you might want to grab you some extra over-the-counter stuff just in case it starts having shortages.
It's just very, very interesting. That's why the push was so hard against. Because if they, that's why the doctors were condemned. I mean, it makes sense now. You wonder why things happened the way they did. The person who was interviewing him said, "I never even heard of this law." He says, "The only reason I know about it is because I've done so much research on all this stuff. I knew the law existed."
Well, I was watching it was like from the 90s, a show. It was a repost on YouTube of this show where they were talking about the population being out of control and whatnot.
Yeah, they've been working on this for years. Yeah.
And, because you see all these science fiction, there were several science fiction writers on the thing too, besides all these scientists. And in these science fiction movies, population is over control, out of control. There's no green spaces anymore because the whole whole planet is covered in cities. And after I watched that, they had an add-on to it where they had some current people talking, and they were talking about the population is actually decreasing because nobody's having kids, and that in turn puts the supply, it decreases the amount of pollutants in this air and all that kind of mess. So it's really interesting. But by 2040, we weren't supposed to be having any open space anymore. The world would be just one continuous city, except where the ocean is.
What's his name told us by 2000 everything will be gone. After he invented the internet, he figured out climate and everything for it too.
Was it Edwards? No, not Edwards. Who?
Al Gore.
Al Gore, yeah, Man Bear Pig. Sorry.
Man Bear Pig.
Have you not seen the episode of South Park where he's running around? His character is running around talking about Man Bear Pig. Oh Lord, you'll learn a lot about life.
So Greenland hadn't melted off yet? That was supposed to flood Florida, wasn't it? When Greenland melted?
Well, according to statistics, if the polar caps were to melt, the water would rise up to the height of the torch on the Statue of Liberty. which means, yes, that's going to displace a lot of people. But it's not like we're going to become water world. There's just not enough water. I mean, not enough ice. So start buying everything in the mountains. Well,
Scott, I've been kind of wondering this. You've got a bigger YouTube channel than me. How many sales do you make to viewers?
None, because I generally don't. I've not shown a lot of yard sale stuff. I don't push that. I know Commonwealth. A lot of them do that.
Yeah. Well, they got Commonwealth just went over 100,000 subscribers. That's really big, but
yeah.
See, I don't understand, Scott. I guess you're just your political aspect of your life is such a turn off to people. I don't understand why you don't have over 100,000 viewers. Why you haven't got your little plaque? Because you have a lot of good content. You have a lot of good information, and
the channel. I'll mention politics, and people don't like that. They're so fucking soft. This generation, this Charmin generation we deal with. And YouTube also, I'm not up in search, and my videos are not pushed because I've been warned on content and demonetized on political content, and so my channel is not pushed.
You've got like what, 87,000 subscribers?
71.
71.
Well, guys, like
I lose subscribers every month because I could be more. A lot of it too. I could be more active in making videos. I don't make them as regular as I should. A lot of look how much content Commonwealth puts out for 2 channels. He puts out a ton, and they work on. They do TikToks. They do Instagram. They really push a lot of video. I just don't. So some of it's my fault.
Well, you only have so much time that you can do it.
That and I don't know, Craigslist Hunter, he doesn't do one every day, but he's got the formula worked out. I mean, he puts in his animals, and he does a giveaway, and he's got a shop full of interesting people that come in and sell him stuff. He's kind of got a built-in.
I'm just too old. I'm just too old to give a fuck too. So.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah, but you have good content. You have good how-tos. You have good information about
But the thing about the Wednesday morning show, Tom, a lot of people, I'll tell you straight up like it is, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If I think you're doing something wrong, or I'll tell you straight up. You got to be doing this, and a lot of people don't want to hear it. They want to, oh honey, it's okay. It's got to be. I'm not going to take if it's not eBay's fault. If it's a seller's fault, I'm quick to who I think is in the wrong. I mean, most of the time it's the other side, but if there are a lot of things sellers do wrong, and a lot of people don't want to hear that.
Did Jacob get? And I meant to ask my son last night. Well, I need to ask him when I talk to him again. Did you get a letter, or did Jacob get a letter from the government saying that some of his school debt was forgiven, or did you and Joni pay for
it? He's got like 20,000 loans, or somewhere in there, 18 or 20. It's not much.
That 10,000 they're sending out would be 10,000 less. I was just wondering.
That didn't get passed. Supreme Court shot that down.
I thought they sent out letters last week. Saying that to people.
No, they redid it, but the new program is you have to have at least made 240 payments, 240 months worth of payments minimum in order to have your debt forgiven.
Oh, so they've got a lot of. So he did what he said he was going to do, but there's a lot of requirements to be able to have it forgiven.
Yeah, how many? So it was the bait and switch, as it always is with politics. It's pushed to the younger generation who thinks they deserve everything. I deserve to get an education. It's my right to have an education. All that bullshit they teach them, because uh, I didn't know I was signing up for $300,000 in debt to be art critic. Yes, you did. Uh, but they push it towards the youngins, and 240 months out of college. That's a few years out of college. That is not the demographic that they push that towards.
That's what,
And I
20
think for
years?
most people it's 300 months, but you can minimum qualify at 240 under certain circumstances. But for most people, you've got to have made payments for 300 months.
Todd would still have to be making payments to qualify for it.
Oh, that's only 25 years. Come on.
Good morning, Felix.
I do have friends that are still making college debt payments like 20, 25 years after graduating. I'm like, golly, how did you rack that up? Well, I went to Baylor. It's a private school. It costs more. Well, I went to a state school. You didn't have to go there.
Well, that's just it. They go to these they pick these crazy subjects that they're going to get their degrees in, and then they go to a private university, which escalates the amount of expensive.
Yeah, when I
You
first
still
started
paying for?
college, the semester hour of college was $7. And because I was a resident in Texas. And then, so the most expensive part of going to college was the dorm room and the meal plan. So, yeah, it was pretty cheap to go to college when I did. But times were different. They didn't pay professors all that well back then. And they didn't have to have $500 million stadiums for their football teams back then. Or whatever else colleges waste money on.
And this, are you going to have to tell your girls they're going to have to start working out a gimmick to to find their college education?
Dark web.
Because they're what, like 14? They only got 4 years left to go, 3 or 4 years to go.
Yeah, by the time I left college, it was up around $40 a semester hour. But my freshman year, man, it was $7 a semester hour. I took like 16 hours or something my first semester.
And not, all these people can't find jobs because they can't find anything in their career, in their courses, their degree. So anyway, Todd, you have any final thoughts on today? Because
that was
late.
My first semester college tuition cost $112. We're leaving?
Oh no, I was reading through the chat. I guess Scott had to drop out because he got on a phone call. 60,000 a year for boarding school lag. I mean, for Felix. All that oil money. But you got 3 free meals a day. No, you didn't. You didn't get no free meals. Those free meals were included in that $68,000 a year.
Yeah, back when I was in college, people could have a part-time job and pay their own way through. work 20 hours a week and go to college the rest of the time, and
well, one thing too is
do that for 4 years.
the tuition at state schools is not too bad. The books are crazy, but the tuition's not too bad. The room and board is what drives everything up. I mean, that's 2/3 of college is the room and board. Because there's a lot of people that, you know, they have the opportunity to live at home and they drive back and forth to college. Like Charlotte, we have Winthrop University in South Carolina. We have a branch of USC, University of South Carolina, not that one on the West Coast. We have we have UNC Charlotte, we have Queen's University, we have Johnson C. Smith University. We have, you know, people can drive. I get that. We have a private school here called Charlotte Latin. It's $35,000 for an elementary school kid, and that's not room and board. That's just day school. Yeah, you get what you want. But, you know, we've got more we got more universities in South Carolina and North Carolina than the UK probably has altogether. But it's a money-making gig. And one of the things around here is that a lot of the high schools have got middle colleges. That's what they call it. Early college, middle college. It's all the same thing. And so your junior and senior year at some of them, it's sophomore, junior, and senior year. You can take college credit classes through community colleges. And that's the way my son that went to Charmex school system, he did his 2 years of university while he was still in high school. He actually graduated with his Associates of Arts degree 2 days before he graduated from high school. So he what? Oh, okay, it was science, not arts. So he graduated. He saved 2 years, which was $50,000 at um, when he transferred to NC State. And I think that's what they need to do. I think that every school system should have that kind of program. And if you're on the college track, you should be they should be offering those classes in-house. Yeah, but the whole UK school system and is so much different from the way we are over here. So anyway. Yeah, but most people over here are working while they're working on their like my son. My son is working on his master's degree. Um, he works full time and he goes to school part time.
You're a parakeet.
I'm not sure what that means.
I don't either.
I just yeah, that's why we're the greatest country in the world. That's why we've got 50,000 people on a lottery for green cards. And a lot of those people are from the UK and Norway, or that area up around Norway. So anyhow, Todd, you have any important thing you'd like to say? I got to get out of here.
Oh, not really. Just we'll all be on Scott's live tomorrow. I'm sorry yesterday that right toward the end my headset ran out of battery. So that's why you couldn't hear me on the end.
Oh, okay.
But
Glenn, you have a good day.
Thursday
All right.
we'll be back on Queen City Picker Channel, and Friday back on
Thursday.
Silver Hairs Tacker Show. And I will not be coming tomorrow because
you'll be with Gwen.
Gwen's getting her procedure.
Well, let us know how that goes.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Make some money. And we'll see you on Scott's channel tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.